بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. The subject tonight inshallah is about the music and its medical side effects, or let us say medical effects in general, if there is any positive point or negative points to be mentioned. While we discuss about medical effects of music, because there is a lot of discussions in the newspapers and in the media that music is useful, so why in Islam music is haram, and to have songs and music or with dancing and going to parties where there is song and music and dancing, that is haram. Why is it haram? Some say the music is useful for the body, treats so many diseases, is very beneficiary for people, very useful for people. So all that is mentioned in the media. Actually, to be exact, when we go to medical textbooks, you don't find any disease mentioned that this disease is treated by music or by songs or by things like that. You don't find any disease like that. So it shows that all what is said is not authentic. And maybe, some either doctors or let us say sociologists or psychiatrists mention certain things, but these are not approved and not to be generalized. Maybe in certain cases there are some benefits, but not the general issue about it. To know about effect of music on the body is good to know how it works. The music is very strong stimulus which controls the psychology and attention of the person completely, and that is why the person will react with the music continuously. He cannot really stop that because it is very strong stimulus and had strong attraction to it. So when one listens to music, he keep listening and he enjoy to listen to that without interruption. So that is the main effect of that. There are certain types of music which are calm, and instead of stimulation or agitation, it might bring the calmness to the person, that depends on the type of music. Beside the music, the lyrics, what are the words mentioned with the music, it depends now on its meaning. Some of them are harmful, some of them are neutral, and some of them are very harmful, very poisonous, because they encourage, let us say, the youth, the adolescent age to be aggressive and so on, so that is another problem with the music, the songs which is there and the words which are mentioned there. Because music affect as a strong factor to affect the person, it actually create problem with the homeostasis of the body. Now, what is homeostasis of the body? The human body is made by Almighty God in such a way that always try to keep itself near to the normal situation, and whatever abnormal happening happens, the body will correct itself by itself as much as possible. For example, if acidity increase in the blood because we are eating some pickles and it brings extra acidity to the blood, so that acidity naturally will make the blood in high acidity, and that is very dangerous for the enzymes, for the hormones, for the activities of the cell. So what the body will do, will throw that acidity through the kidney and sometimes through the breath, and the people will get rid of it, and the blood will remain in a normal acidity. Well, the contrary is true if one eats alkaline food, like some of the antacid liquids. They have alkaline to reduce effect of hyperacidity in the stomach. But that alkaline is harmful to the blood. When it is absorbed from the intestine and go to the blood will be alkaline. The pH of the blood will go high. Then that is risky, and it has to come down to normal without any change. And again, the blood will throw, the body will throw through the blood, will throw that alkaline through the kidney, and it will be secreted in the urine. So the taste of the urine will be alkaline rather than acidic. And same thing also by respiration, it will go out through breathing. Well, some cases the liver is doing that in case of some poisons or harmful foods, or let us say hormones are taken, then the liver will deal with that and will remove it. So that is the homeostasis of the body, when the body corrects itself by itself. Give another example. If somebody is standing, he is a guard at night, he is protecting a building, and then he gets sleepy while standing. When he gets sleepy, heart rate will be reduced from 75, the normal, to about 40, 45. And naturally, when his heart rate is down, his blood pressure will be low, and most of the blood will be collected in the feet, less blood will go to the brain. If he stay in that case, he might die ultimately. But before death, what will happen? He will get unconscious. When he gets unconscious, he will fall on the ground. When he falls on the ground, then the level of the head and level of the body is the same. And then enough blood will go to the brain, and there is no risk for him. Well, another example, if somebody gets severe pain, like a hit blow in the epigastric region, here in the intestinal, in the stomach region, epigastric region. Severe hit here will give severe pain, and that pain will cause heart to stop sometimes if it is severe, and the person may die with that hit, because severe pain will cause what is called bradycardia, means heart rate is reduced and sometimes will stop completely and the person may die. But before dying because of pain, he will get unconscious. When he gets unconscious, he do not feel effect of pain. So effect of pain is out. And then after unconscious, after some times, then he come back to his consciousness, and then the pain is no more there, because pain is not continuous. So this is homeostasis, The body corrects itself by itself. And it is very, very important for the body. If somebody runs, naturally when he runs for a long time, ultimately if he continue running, the muscles will get a problem, and maybe the ligaments will break, and he had a lot of problems ultimately. But before he reach to that state, what will happen? He feel tired. The body, let us say the muscles will produce lactic acid, and that lactic acid will let the person feel tired and cramp or pain in the muscles. So he stops, he cannot run anymore. When he stops, naturally there is no more tension for the muscles, and the muscles are protected. Otherwise, without that pain, if one continues, then ultimately maybe the ligaments will burst and he will get a lot of problems in the muscles and the ligaments. So that, you see, the protection of the body itself. There are a lot of examples in physiology. Well, there is also many examples in psychology of the person, you know. Sometimes because of situation, one do a mistake. If somebody does a mistake and he do not want to confess, because if he confess, it will break his image within himself, you know. So what he will say, you know, will tell him, why you do this mistake? Well, he knows it is a mistake, but he wants to protect his psyche, his personality. He said, no, not only me, I do this, everybody else is doing. See, why he is calling everybody else is doing? What are you doing with everybody is bad? Why you are bad? But in order to protect his psyche, his personality, he say, well, everybody else is doing. Or he has some excuses he finds. Oh, well, I did it because I was forced to do that. I had no option, you know. Anyhow, that happened. I said that I had no option. I have to do that, you know. Oh, I decided that is good, you know. So you see, he covers his weakness by these excuses. Anyhow, there are many ways for that protection of the psyche of the person. So what I mean, these are, in general, what I mean, the homeostasis, the control of the body which is there. Now, what is the effect of a music? The music will damage that effect. Because in a music, you will continue listening to the sound and you are under an influence of it so much that you cannot stop not to listen to that. You are under control of the music continuously. So if that is harmful for activities of the heart or of the liver or of the kidney or of the nerves, then you will not stop, because the stimulus is continuous and you enjoy, and you have to listen and listen and listen and enjoy and so on, you know. It is very strong stimulus, not like other stimuli which are of limited effect, but this is no strong stimulus which attract you and attract your attention continuously. So that creates a problem for the person, because the control of the body is no more there. Now all the body is under an influence of the music and not under an influence of the, let us say, reason or brain or the hormones or the body itself, you know. The control is in hand of somebody else, and that is the external factor, that is the music. So this is naturally is very harmful, especially if somebody is sick, let us say. Now if he walk, if he has heart disease, if he walk, he feel heart pain and he stops work. Because that is a sign that you should not walk much, because now there is a pressure on your heart. But the music, he is always influenced with it. He enjoy to listen. Actually, like obsession is there, you know. He has to listen to the music and has to react with it, you know, willingly or unwillingly, because he is under control of that. And naturally, whatever problems are there, there is no control for it. Problems will happen. So it will be very harmful in that situation. Another situation, and that is very risky for people who have depression. And in certain studies, it's found that music actually stimulates depression rather than what is said, people will be extrovert. No, ultimately depression will be there. And the risk is there, risk of suicide is there. How? Depression are of two types. One is called intrinsic or internal depression, and one is external depression. External due to factors from outside. Internal due to factors within the body, for whatever genetic reasons or reduction on the ability of the brain, let us say blood-brain barrier is there, so the catecholamines will not cross to the brain cells to make them active, so the person feel he is depressed. I mean, whatever is the reason, the internal depression is very risky because 5% of the patients with internal depression have tendency for suicide. And that is why for their treatment, they have to be admitted to the hospital. Why to be admitted to the hospital? Because the time they will do suicide, not when they are depressed. They will have suicidal attempt when they get treatment. After 1 week of the treatment or 2 weeks of the treatment, then they will go and have physically suicidal attempt. The reason why, when they are depressed, they are fed up of their life, or they feel like that, because they are depressed. The life is gloomy, dark, nothing, no beauty in it, They look to it very gloomy way. But they are so depressed, so helpless, that they cannot take decision to go and physically perform suicide. Not that they do not want to kill themselves. They want to get rid of this life. So life is very gloomy. I wish to get rid of it. But they are so depressed, so helpless, so weak, they cannot go and physically perform suicide. But when they get medicine, the medicine at the beginning is little like tonic for them. Will give them some psychological support. But depression is still there. So within a week or 10 days, depression will take about 3 weeks. Then the depression will go by effect of medicine. Medicine will not affect the same day. It may take about 3 weeks' time. So within those 3 weeks' time, the patient feels he is better. He has ability to take decision for suicide. And depression is still there, has not gone, so that the idea of suicide will go with it. So he attempts suicide when he starts the medicine, especially after 1 week to 10 days after starting using the medicine. That is why it is advised that the patient should be admitted to the hospital and take the medicine under supervision of the hospital. Complete supervision till the time his depression is gone, let us say after 3 weeks. So if that case is in mind, now we understand why those who listen to music will get easier tendency for suicide. Because when he is depressed, that is also part of homeostasis. He is depressed, he wants to get rid of his life, yes, but he don't know how to do it. He had no mood to go and do it. He had no desire, no ability, no power. Even if he want to jump from the window, let us say on 10th floor, he had no ability to go to do that, So he depressed, it's it, He want to do it, but he cannot, practically he cannot. But when he listens to music, he is charged. He get activity. He become little extrovert. And in that case, now he is able to fulfill his decision. And then he will go and attempt for suicide. So it happens sometimes like that, because of that effect. Well, another effect for the music is the effect on, well, maybe there is no study, but I say just a theory, increasing cancer in the body. And cancer is not one type. There are hundreds of types of cancer in the body. Cancer is the abnormal growth of the cells, uncontrolled growth of the cell. But because there are many types of cells, each cell might get its own cancer. You know, the skin has different type of cells. The muscles have different type of cells. The nerve, the epithelial system, the membranes inside the body, that has the stomach had different cells, the pancreas, the liver, the kidney. So all parts of the body have different parts of types of cells, you know. So one may get cancer of any part of the body, maybe cancer of the bladder, or cancer of the stomach, or cancer of intestine, or cancer of the colon, or cancer of the kidney, cancer of the liver, cancer of the pancreas, cancer of the lung, cancer of the brain, cancer of the endocrine glands, and so on, you know, cancer of the skin, and a lot of types, hundreds of types of cancer is there. But generally all of that is caused by abnormal development of cells. What does it mean abnormal? Because the cells will develop, will increase in number. Every day some of the cells are dead, will go, and new cells are formed. So formation of cells is normal phenomena. Every day millions of, let us say, white blood cells, some are dead and new white blood cells are formed, you know. The same thing, red blood cells are formed. Also, well, the liver cells are changed, you know, the intestine. Well, all the body except the nerve cells are not changed. Otherwise, all other cells of the body are, day by day, some of the cells will die and new cells are formed. But that formation is controlled by the body. Suppose I have injury. In the injury there is skin wounded, and then both sides of the skin has to grow in order to cover that wound, because that opening should not be there in the skin, otherwise bacteria will enter. So the skin will grow till it's completely healed and the growth will stop. Why it will not grow more? Because it is under control of the body. So it will grow till the wound is healed and the growth will stop automatically by itself, naturally by control of the body. Now if the growth will continue without that control, what will happen? Naturally the skin or the muscle will grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and you see a bunch of cells are there, you know. So that is because there is no control in it. Now it is found that if they put a music or certain types of a music in a farm, agricultural farm, the crops will increase by 60% sometimes. It shows what the development of the cells and the cells' growth is faster and affected by music. Well, it was experimented also in a farm of cows, big number of cows, and when they put in music, they found the cow will give more milk. So amount of milk is increased. And that shows what? Again, there is an activity of the cells. So the cells are more active and will give more milk. Or let us say the plant cells get more active and the plant will increase in the corpse. So that means what? It means music has its effect on a mutation of the cell and development of the cell. And the cells might develop faster with the music. Okay, all that development, division of the cell, and then one become two, become four, become more, all that is under control of the body. But ultimately, if by any chance one of the cells get out of control of the body, naturally that development will be out of control of the body, and that will make a tumor cell, and then it will grow and divide and grow more and more and more till it will increase in size and then metastasize to other parts of the body and will create a problem still. If no treatment, then death will be there. So I don't say that there is a study, but well, it is a belief that I think from what I have studied, I think there is a link between cancer and music, but then it needs to be authenticated by certain experiments to make sure about it. Well, there are some of scientific studies about effect of a music, and one of them has done for effects of rap and heavy metal music lyrics on adolescent behavior of the youth at their adolescent age. And this is done in Samantha King and Jim McConnell and Mike in Department of Physiology, Westchester University. In this study, a lot of results are there. I just mentioned some of it in short in relation to effect on adolescent behavior. It is said, it has been suggested that the lyrics in these types of music, in musics of rap and heavy metal music, because experiment is on that. They did not do experiment on other types of music, but on these types. Promote aggression, bigotry, deviant sexual activity, suicide, violence, drug use, and homicide. And that is by Ballard and Dodson in 1999. So it shows very well that the effect on adolescent behavior is great, and it will create deviation of the youth to so many bad things, to suicide, sexual activities, and drug use, homicide, violence, etc. Well, in another study, let's say the American Academy of Pediatrics for the children, feels that rock lyrics are potential threats to the health and well-being of adolescents. These concerns include pregnancy, drug use, sexually transmitted diseases, accidents, and suicide. And this is mentioned by Mendelssohn in 1989. So you see, the effect of adolescence is that there will be a lot of medical problems which arise, because it is uncontrolled matters of enjoying with the music without control of the body. And then ultimately, when the music will finish, the people are still agitated and they want to do something. And then they go for either wrong direction in the sex. So they said pregnancy will increase, sexually transmitted will increase, or they go and take drugs in order to enjoy more, and then drug use. And sometimes when they drive a car because of uncontrolled enjoyment, then they are active, they are fast, and they create car accidents. And also they will attempt suicide. In this study, so the theory which I have explained in physiology, ultimately it will lead to suicide. So that is one study. Well, the same, they said, in rock music tends to symbolize the adolescent themes of rebellion and autonomy. Again, rebellion and autonomy. So the children are not under control of the society, let us say parents or the teachers or the police, and they create a lot of crimes because they are in a state of enjoyment and they want to do something, Actually, it happens once in Australia that when they came out of the music, they were so active and agitated that they break the glass of the shops all around in the plazas, around in the market. They start breaking the glass just to show they are doing something and some activity. So that is bad effect of music because there is no control on it, Well, again, it said the two most popular forms of music for adolescents revolve around themes of disrespect and sexual imagery. That is study by Brown and Hindi, 1989. Furthermore, the effects music lyrics have on mood, suicidal ideation, aggression, and stereotyping have been questioned, So again, effect on mood, effect on suicidal ideas which will come and then ultimately become aggressive, the person, aggression, and stereotypic effect. Well, in another study, said they focused on whether music lyrics can be directly blamed for the rise in adolescent suicide. Actually, they wanted to confirm definitely that effect so that they can go to the court and tell the court that to ban these type of music. Well, there are a lot of suggestions, but it did not reach the point that the court will say that it is illegal. So they said, that was aim of the study. They said the general consensus of these studies is that while there may be a connection between music and suicide, suicidal ideation, and thoughts of suicide, there is no empirical data that links heavy metal or rap to suicidal behavior. Dr. Shield and Westfield, 1999, they said its effect, but Ballard and Coates, 1995, they said there is, difficult to find a link between that, But however, some of the studies, they found the link. And sometimes, it will make a verbal aggression increase among the adolescents. As in a study done by Littman, 1997, which states those groups who listen to rap music with lyrics demonstrated slightly higher tendency towards verbal aggression than the subjects in a non-lyric group and a non-music control group. So again, the contents of the music is harmful. Besides, the effect of a music itself is harmful up to great limit. Naturally, the studies are not always done properly or on a wide scale, because mostly the people in the Western countries who are able to do these studies, not, let us say, in the Muslim countries, rarely there is research there. Mostly the researches are done in the Western countries, so rarely they care for effect of music as, let us say, the Muslims cares about it. Because in Islam, it is not allowed to listen to the music, at least to certain type of music, which will increase our lust and, let us say, internal desires. Now, maybe according to some scholars, certain types of music, like the classical one, are allowed. However, that we are going to discuss in the coming lecture. But today we are discussing the medical effect. Not without going into details of which one is lawful, which one is unlawful. So generally speaking, in that way, we say that there are a lot of problems created by music. It is not as is propagated that the music will be useful, music is good, music is source for our enjoyment and good life. No, not always that. That might be on certain cases, limited cases, but what I say, generally speaking, it is not like that. It has bad effect, as I said, because it disrupts the homeostasis of the body, and the control of the body will not be there. And then all the cells of the body will start being active and influenced by the song and the tone of the music. And that influence is so great that the person cannot come out of it. He will continue listening and continue reacting with it without being able to come out easily. And that naturally will make him active unnecessarily. And when music will finish, there is no physical activity there. What I mean, if somebody runs, also the body is active. The heart is beating, the blood is moving around the body, the muscles are active. But when he gets tired, he stops. And he wants, after that, after being active, he wants to take rest. That is the normal situation. In the music, on the contrary, he is active, and when the music stops, still he is active and he wants to enjoy. So nothing is there to stop him. And that is the risk, because there is no control of the body, no homeostasis effect here. So that is why his behavior might change, aggression will increase, or let us say sexual deviation will be there, or suicide attempts will be there, or attacking others will be there, and so on. All that will happen. That is why you say in Islam, you say the person is supposed to be at a neutral state and in a comfortable position, rather than to be influenced by things like music and its bad effect. These are some of the things. Maybe one more point has to be mentioned, and that is about the what you call the natural rhythms of the metals. Everything in this world has its own rhythm. If we have a stunning fork, when you hit it, it will have a special rhythm. It will move and has a special rhythm. Everyone has different rhythm. And now if we have two stunning forks with the same rhythm, if you hit one and start the rhythm, and you keep it in front of the second one start also moving by effect of the first one. And that is why it is said that the army, the soldiers, when they cross the bridge, they should not march at time of crossing the bridge, not with rhythm. No, they walk ordinary walk. Why? Because they were afraid that the rhythm of their marching and the rhythm of the bridge is the same, and then the bridge will start moving and will fall down. Well, it is mentioned that once there was a dog crossing the bridge and the bridge fall down, and the only explanation was there that the legs of the dog, that give a special rhythm, and that rhythm was similar to rhythm of the bridge, so the bridge start moving and it fall down. So this is a fact in physics, an effect of the rhythms. So here, if music has its rhythm, and every music has a different rhythm, naturally cells of the body have also, each one has its own rhythm. If the rhythm of the music comes equal to that cell, naturally that cell will be so much active without any control of the body because of the same rhythm. That hyperactivity had naturally a lot of bad effects. Well, if it is from the endocrine glands, then it will produce hormones, which the body is not in need of those hormones. And if it is under control, growth control of the body, then it will be out of control, and this is what we said will lead to cancerous cells, because we said cancerous cell is cell which is active without control of the body, overactive. So naturally, bad effect of a music will be there over all the body itself. Well, these are some of the medical effects. Of course, we are not discussing effect of the loud sound on the ear, which ultimately, naturally, will affect our eardrum and will get impaired hearing. Will reduce ability of hearing, because we hear loud sound always, and that by time will affect our ability to hear. Well, also it has some effects on the brain and nerves. Again, that is one of the bad effects. So, in general, what I mean when we see in religion, in Islamic faith, it is said that it is not allowed to listen to songs and music. Well, there is a lot of benefits for the human being if he do not listen, and there are a lot of hazards if he listen. Naturally, we believe Almighty God did not make any rule and regulation without a benefit for the human being himself, not benefit for Almighty God, because nothing from our deeds will benefit Almighty God. He is Almighty. We are the weak people. We need Almighty God. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need our prayer or fast or to be religious and to practice. No, we do that because we need to help ourselves. So if Almighty God says the music is not good and you should not listen, then naturally there are a lot of hazards in it if we listen, and a lot of good points if we do not listen. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.